Okay. So just gotta see the chat. Just gotta see who's in here. Get my thing set up. So yeah, so to add to what Moody was saying earlier is that sometimes you hear Moody, he's like, what do you see? He says, go long, right? And then you might enter and it might pull back or something. And you'd be like, I thought he said long. Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. What you have to do is figure out, like he said earlier, when is the appropriate time to enter and what is your risk management. But you also have to identify what he means as well. So let's take this chart for example. Let's take a look. We see that it is an uptrend. This is a daily chart NQ, and this is just rewound back in August. So when he's saying go long, what does that mean? That means that he sees that's an uptrend. It's clearly an uptrend, right? So what does that mean if it's pulling back? Your job is to identify it is until it isn't, right? What does that mean? It is until it isn't. So he's correct until he's wrong. So when he says the uptrend, what would make this structure here a downtrend? If, let's say, if price comes down to right here, and then it comes back up, is this a downtrend all of a sudden on this overall structure? What would make this a downtrend? If you guys want to put in the chat, what would make this chart a downtrend? What needs to happen in order for this to be a downtrend? No wrong answers.
Breaking lower lows.
Lower lows.
Yeah.
So right here, for example, like that's a good it's a good point. This is a lower low. This is a change of state of change in the state of delivery on this time frame. Change of the state of delivery means that we had a low here and we finally broke out down. So this is a lower low. So now does that mean this overall structure is a downtrend? No, right? Even though price might look like it's now making a further push down, right? So Moody asked a question to get you guys thinking, but I kind of want to show you how to actually interpret it. So I use fair value gaps. People know I use fair value gap. We have, well, someone wrote, we'll have to break structure, draw a line. All right, we break structure here, change the state of delivery. We have a new low. We have a fair value gap right here. Bearish fair value gap right here. Is the chart small? Let me know if it's too small for you guys because I have a really wide screen. You guys see that, right? That's change of state delivery. We're making lower highs and lower lows. So even though Moody's saying go long, just like he said earlier, people are scared when price is going down to actually buy. So our goal is to try to see how far we can go down, but that will still confirm that it's an uptrend. So this is an opportunity to short in a bullish market. This is a bullish market because in order for it to really be a downtrend, right, we have to not only break here, but we have to break here. This will really confirm that we're struggling. Something is up, and price can really start targeting sell side liquidity because we have a lot of targets down here. But this is not really good enough. When you say go long, yeah, you can start loading up, but again, we have support. So how do you use your support? One way is to use liquidity as targets of where price you expect it to go. And another one was fair value gaps, like I mentioned right here. This is the change of state of delivery, and this is a bearish order flow on a smaller time frame. And then we can go even lower, be like, oh, I see a bullish fair value gap here. This is bullish support. So even if price comes all the way down here and starts dancing around a little bit, are you like, oh, we're going, look at we bounced off here and we're really coming down. This is such a bearish market. This is still bullish in terms of this overall daily market. That's why you have to understand the market structure. it really won't be bearish again until we really break out this way. Then we're gonna come down, or we could come down. We could look on the other side past data to see where we could come down to, but we really need a big push down more than you think. So we still bullish, but we're looking for areas where we can enter. And so if we let this play out a little bit, boom. All right. Now we're holding support. Now we're starting to look at when Moody said go long. Then this is where you want to start looking for. You don't want to start looking right when you see one, like he said, one big candle up because you're gonna get stopped out. That's why you need context, right? This is the change of state of delivery on a smaller time frame that is bearish. We break structure. Someone mentioned that earlier. And we come back, we tap into equilibrium, fair value gap, and we reject. This is the strat, 2-2 reversal. But now that we get over here, we have to let more candles confirm what we're talking about. Okay, so we get a couple more candles. Let's see. All right, so when you see this now, does that all of a sudden you got a couple more candles? Now you can, if I ask you the same question, is this a downtrend or is this an uptrend? You'd probably give me a different answer, right? Because we were coming down, making lower lows. You were correct. But is this a downtrend or uptrend now? You guys see that? Well, we have to change the state of delivery coming back up, but it's still an uptrend until we break the last external low. This is a low, this is a low, and these are all internal lows. So when we get to external and break external lows, then that's a downtrend. But these are all internal with this market structure. That's why you need candles. It doesn't matter if this is the 1 minute, the 15-second, the hourly, daily. They will all follow the same rules in terms of what an uptrend is and what a downtrend is. But yes, this is a downtrend because this lasted so long, July all the way to the end of August or middle of August, right? This is a downtrend. But now around here, right, we see that we are now changing the state of delivery back to the upside. Same thing happened here. What happened? Same thing happened here. We had a break of structure. We're coming out.
Hey BW,
Yes.
can I ask for a request as you're up on that level now?
Okay.
So since we were identifying, since a lot of people were able to identify with them being breakout traders and it coming back to a previous support, which was your fair value gap bullish support level, and it getting back to that market structure of that fair value gap where it started to correct itself. How would you tell someone to now that they're seeing it back at that price and it's very bullish? How would you enter that trade? Whether your entry is, breaking above a price or even coming down to a price.
There's a couple ways you could enter it, right? If depending on what you're buying. If you're buying very short-term options, then I would say you would need confirmation to break us back above these levels, right? Two down, two up. That's what we look for, two down, two up. So if you're doing weeklies or something short term, then yeah, you would need some confirmation and go to a smaller time frame and look for the exact same setup. So being in the exact same setup, yeah, we want
Can
to.
you repeat that? That
Okay.
was like so fire, like what you said, and then you had to go. I think you said something about a smaller time frame and something
Yeah,
about the
so
same
right here,
something.
obviously in the daily, like, it takes a bunch of candles, a bunch of 4 hour candles, a bunch of hourly candles to confirm. But on just going off the candlesticks on the daily, you still but it's a big margin, right? The points, right? From right here is 800, up here is always like over like hundreds of points. So you can't buy something and have it pull back hundreds of points on you. So that's why you have to go to the smaller time frame, but it's still you follow the same candlestick structures. You still follow the same candlestick models to confirm. But when you go on a 1 minute, it's not 500, 800 points. It's more like 15 points, 20 points. And that's how you work that into your system of risk management, understanding the points, how many points, what is worth, you get micros or not. But your job is to, if I was going to just go strictly off this, right? Let's say we saw this rejection, we see these types of candles. Let's say this candle starts turning green, right? And while this was turning green, or let's just say even when
BW,
after green.
don't BW, don't go too crazy since we
Okay.
about to have the
Yeah, yeah,
mentorship.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
lying. I'm lying. I just wanted to say that.
Oh,
Go
oh.
crazy.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a mentorship, and I'll go into more details and more language that you need to know in order to spot these things out. And when you actually know the language, you can, you know, explain what needs to happen so you can write it down, and that's how you have your plan. So let's say like, oh, I need a change of state delivery, and then it needs a BOS in order to hit a fair value gap at consequent encroachment. Like if you learn the terminology, you'll know like, everything I just said. And one thing has to happen in order for it to be what that terminology is, right? That's why I think it's important to learn the language. But just going off strictly, them in layman's terms, right? Having a support, understanding where the last line of support is, and understanding that the market structure is bullish until we break external support. Then we use our methods of support and resistance. In my terms, is the fair, or the way I use this, fair value gap. So you would use this as a support, and you would target back these internal highs, just like we targeted these internal lows with this change of state delivery. We now target these internal highs. We don't just go straight, oh yeah, we're gonna go all-time highs again just from right here. We don't know. So we need things to kind of play out, but knowing where your stop loss is. So let's just say fair value gap, we have this wick down here. This will be my stop loss. If it goes any lower, then most likely we're gonna make an attack towards making new lower lows. And what could happen is that we can come and sweep this and then still be an uptrend. That could happen. But understanding that the way I use support resistance is for value gaps. So that's my system. So whatever your system of support resistance, you can do. Oh, mine's is like, let's say, what is the supply and demand? Supply and demand is the series of down closed candles at the bottom of external structure. Let's just use this last one and be like, this is my support and resistance. This is how I do supply demand. That's what people would do for supply and demand, right? And if you look at this in its own, the definition of the supply demand, it's respecting the support right here. It tapped into the support and bounced up. But I use fair value gaps too, so that gives me more of internal support and resistance to take me to external liquidity. Okay, so just off of this, let's just say this is my strategy is to take it back to right here, for example, and then my exit is right here, right? So until it comes down and violates my stop loss, I know that I have my set stop loss. If it price hits here, I'm out. And it's not anything to do with how much money the contract hit as, because if you're trading options, it will fluctuate a lot differently based off of when it expires, even though it's moving in the direction that you want it to go. So you know it's bullish, but if it's chopping around for a whole week, it might ruin your contract. So,
That's right.
but
I want to
understand
be
where
BW. I want to be the tedious. I want to be like a tedious member. All right, I understand everything that you just said. However, price is where it's at right now. Can you give me an entry point or help me understand where I can enter this trade right now? Like right now, what can you tell me about the market condition that can happen that you can give me some level where I can execute a call or a put
like in the current day.
in the current price action right now?
Oh, well,
Of
I
course, I
gave
know
it.
that you'll have to go to a smaller time frame, things of that nature. But
Yeah,
if you
but
were
going
just
off of this one
utilize the
alone, like
huh?
I would say if you wanted to enter once you see rejection off the support. And for me to validate it as well, do we have any internal, like I said, I look for internal sweeps of liquidity and support to take me to external draws. This is external draw. This is internal sweep to take me to external draw. So I use fair value gaps to go from internal to take me to external. So let's just say I wanted to enter right here. I think I see a rejection. I see a sweep right here, and I have a support right here. I'll enter. And until it comes out down here, it takes me out. It takes me out. But these things, the support is there's a reason why you put a support, so you can put a stop loss. So if it breaks the support, then it's broken. So it's going the other way. But understanding that this is my support, you got to trust your support. So I'm gonna put this here, and into if it comes down here, it takes me out. So let's just say I saw the rejection here, big wicks. What does the wicks tell you? Wicks are telling you rejections. The big candles give you those fair value gaps that I look for. But
But how do
wicks are
you
the
know that? Like, how do you know that Wix at the top is giving you a rejection? Like, why do I need to believe what you're saying?
Because if it was this, for example, this is support. This is no longer a wick. So what does that mean? That means my support was broken. So down here, this is a wick at support, and it's showing that it's being respected. So there's a difference between being respected and disrespected. This is disrespected.
Okay, I see what you're showing me, and I can
Okay.
definitely identify that. Can you show me that again somewhere else on the chart to see if that actually happens?
Of course. I just so
And
happen.
now for everybody that's watching him and how he just pulled up another chart, you see how he's one of my peers. However, I'm just drilling him with questions. And I'm not drilling him with questions thinking that he's lying, but more so, show me that. Can you show me that in a repetitively thing? And once you're done doing that, you have a few questions in the chat,
Oh,
BW.
shit. Let me see. Sorry, totally.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Can you explain the difference between internal and external lows? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Sheesh. Did I explain it earlier right here? Or I
Yeah,
said
you did.
okay. I just wanted to make sure Bree sees that. Yeah, internal is when we're building an uptrend. Every uptrend has a swing low. Every downtrend has a swing high. That's called trend lines. People have trend line breaks. That is internal liquidity right here. That is all internal swing highs. Internal swing highs. So when we break out, we target these previous internal swing highs first because we don't want to just go straight for here. Otherwise, it'll just be a straight zigzag. It might be a zigzag, if I just use a line chart or something, right? Zigzag if I use a line chart, but I'm using candles. So it makes it a little bit easier because you see where the body is. You see where the body opened, you saw where the body closed, and at the top and the bottom usually generates some type of wick, and those wicks are the last highs before we come down. So internal is what we want to target, all right, and external is the final destination. And when it breaks out, for example, later on, if it does choose to break out, then you will look for something like this, which what Moody was saying earlier, support turn resistance or resistance turn support. We would expect something like this, where we break out, chop for a little bit, and then do one more sweep, and then continue up. And we're only looking bullish until it is not. All right, it is until it isn't. Right. So again, if it's like this, and then price instead chooses to break even lower, like very deep, and then we start establishing real lower highs like this is now support, now turn resistance, then what do? We
Hey,
target.
BW, can you leave your chart just like that? Can you put that line how you had it going across? Stop it right there. All right, guys, I just want to throw something in. You see how he keeps talking about those wicks? You see his yellow line that breaks above that white line, right? It's passing the purple box. And now it's coming back down and it hits that. You can see how it looks like if it's going to be bullish, right? As he mentioned, if that choose to go lower and it comes back to where it originally bounced at, that's how you can always tell the market structure, right? Because if we start to reject something that it broke out from, we know that there's going to reject to go down lower now to another support. Just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, so it is until it isn't. It is until it isn't. And just as I mentioned earlier, how I use fair value gaps to see where my support and resistance is, that's why I have it here. So that's why this will confirm that I'm looking for internal internal lows now if this support is broken. Then I target internals. We don't go straight. Oh, just because we did it again, I don't go straight. Oh, we got to go straight all the way down here now. Nah, we target internals, and that's how you can day trade or get an idea of when the correction will end. Right. So there's other ways to see how far we can go to really determine that there's a higher probability that we target these relative equal lows down here. But until it does that, we still looking long. Until it does it, we still looking long. So when Moody says go long and patience, the patience is looking at where support is. If you don't have any support, then how you gonna be patient? You don't know where it's gonna go and support, and you don't know where it's gonna break out of. So you gotta know where we're gonna break out of, and you gotta know where the support is so you can play highs and lows. That's the answer to the question
One
earlier.
thing that I can mention, and I appreciate all the flowers and the shout outs. However, I gotta sit here and give you your flowers. One thing, because I'm not usually on your classes. One thing that I can mention about following BW's trades and trading with him is the fact that you will yourself learn to be patient, because he is trading price action, but he is also trading a setup, which is a larger setup to take out larger liquidity. So he is waiting to see price take out in liquidity, whether it's the sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity. And now he's confirming with the price action to go and take out price, right? So
Mhm.
that's a little bit, it's kind of the same thing of what I'm doing. I'm just utilizing more time frames. However, he's going to show you a way where it's like, hey, look, you can stay on this specific time frame. And literally, what he's doing is to put it in the best words is he's trading support and resistance. He's trading the market structure, right? He's literally wanting either the high to get to the low or the low to get to the high. And that
Yeah.
is a very patient trader. That's someone that's going to wait for a setup to happen and confirm, then he'll take the trade. And that's
Yes.
very important to be behind.
Yes. Yes. That's absolutely true. So that's why using this, then where would your first target be? Your first target would be like internal, just like how I've been mentioning, internal liquidity. And it may not look like very much, but let's measure out how far that is, right? What was the entry like around here after we broke out? Let's say we broke out right here. See, it's like 1,000 points, for example, right? So I said it's relative depending on the time frame you use. But this is already a very nice trade, 1,000 points, right? From here to here, understanding that what I'm willing to risk down here. And if it's not a good risk to reward ratio, then that means you got to find a better way to enter it near your support. And what does it take at your support for you to enter? So you can enter through a soup, or you can enter on a break and a retest. And those are the things I'll teach in the mentorship, right? Specifically what, but you could always look up things on Google too, but I'll explain it in the way that I do it and that you can try to copy, So again, being in this trade, you want to target internal, and if it breaks down here, you're out. So let's see what happens, right? And that's where you would get out. That was where you get out. And if you have more contracts or options or whatever, or shares, then you want to see how price reacts at resistance now. And if price comes to resistance and immediately rejects and stuff, then that'll let you know, okay, where's my support? I have my support right here now. So once price is breaking out and I'm still in my contract, I'm waiting for price to try to get here. And if it takes me out right here, that's okay because my entry was right here. Even though this seems like a huge green candle and people say don't just buy when it's long, but it's relative because we know what happened, what confirmed why we wanted to enter down here. So, but that's why when they're creating these fair value gaps, it's letting you know that now is bullish order flow, right? That's why I always, like I said, I always color code it. Oops, bearish, right? So I'll try to take blue to green. Blue to red, blue to red. So that's why when price comes down, that could potentially take you out, but oh, it does take you out. But there's another support right here, for example, right? There's another one right here, and that could be your
Hey,
stop loss.
BW,
Yes.
can you just, because I'd rather you save it for the mentorship,
Oh
can
yeah,
you
yeah. Okay,
give
okay, okay.
them just one example
Yeah.
of Jimmy had asked, how would you trail the stop in this same example?
Okay.
Just give them one trail.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So the trail of the stop is that as this is breaking out and it's creating more fair value gaps, you're using these fair value gaps to hold you until you can get to your internal liquidity. That's it. So from here to here. So once you enter your price, your original stop loss is down here. And when we start displacing higher and making more fair value gaps, then you would trail your fair value gap. I mean, your stops below the candle that created the fair value gap until you can get to internal liquidity. Okay, that's why we target internal. We use our support, we target internals. And until price gets to here, that would be, if it breaks out, then that's a break of structure, change of state delivery. So stop loss below the candle that has the fair value gap. Yes. That's why
Yes.
if you're right here in this situation, yeah. My stop loss, for example, right? Long, let's say we long right here. This is the candle that created the fair value gap. So typically you would want to have it below there, below here, okay? And then when we start pushing up, obviously this is the the daily time frame, right? There's a lot of little candles that happen. You want to target internal. So once we start pushing up, then you want to drag your stop loss to the candle that created the fair value gap, like that. And you want to keep targeting here. You don't just, oh, I see 10%, I get out, right? You want to confirm why it's breaking the support, and that's why you're getting out, not because you're looking at the dollar P&L, right? So that's how you trail it. And then obviously, if this is still too big, you go to the 15 minutes, the 5 minutes, and then you see a fair value gap after a certain breakout, and which you think matches your risk tolerance, but you put it below the candle that created the fair value gap. That's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. And that's why when you have this, the structure earlier when you entered, and you had this fair value gap, and you were a swing trader, for example, you just leave it until it can take you to your target. And it might be green to red, but because you have your support and you walked away or something, it can eventually come out up and take your target like that, right? So it really depends on if you're gonna scalp it or you go swing it, or where you have your stop loss, and if you're gonna be trimming along the way as well. There's multiple reasons for that, but I look for these fair value gaps to hold support while obviously you're trimming, right, to take you to your target. Okay, and they're right here. That's why you trimmed at this exit right here. Your second contract breaks, takes you back here. This looks like a loss, but this is break even because you entered right here. That makes sense. So that's why that's up to you. That's why it's important if you buy multiple contracts to target internals first, and then that is your target. You're done. So if it keeps going up, you FOMO, you hit your objective, because my plan was to take me from support to internal. That's your strategy. And if you have, oh, I swing sometimes, I scalp some other times, then you gotta have to find the candles that work out for that. But if you can't validate it with your support and resistance, then you could say you're a swing trader or a scalper, but you're really not. You're just trying to do that, right? So it's important, yeah, to do that. So did that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. BW, I want to mention one thing. There's one individual in this group that does receive favoritism, and I don't care to mention it. However, when it comes to Bernice J, make sure that any one-on-one session is always free.
Free one-on-ones.
Yeah, just for that individual.
Okay. Absolutely. 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 Okay. So to go to the chart that happened this morning, this is why in the morning in my chat, let me see what I said earlier. Price action with BW. I said
What's your chat called again?
it's called price action with BW. It's under signals chat in the memberships. I just dropped some ideas here and there so you can get, and yeah, I shoot my ideas. So this morning I said watch what I said prices can say what day is it today, 14. I said that
Bernice.
yeah, I said there's bullish order flow. Okay, so we're gonna continue to push up. Okay, and so this is Sunday going into Monday morning. Okay, so as we can see, are we bullish or are we bearish? We're bullish, right? We're bullish, and this, although this looks like a head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulders is a bearish setup, but you have to confirm it if a head and shoulders is at your resistance. So there could be a head and shoulders anywhere, but if it's at your resistance, then you know there's a higher chance it's going to be rejected. So let's see, was the liquidity taken out at the top right here for this time frame? So what kind of resistance is it running into? We don't really have a specific resistance that we're running into, but do we have support? Because we already
Grab the
established.
tweet, BW, just to add something to it. Grab the tweezer tops from that resistance that you put. Yeah, there's plenty of them right there.
Yeah.
I think they're all flush, actually. Yeah.
We got this tweezer top. We swept liquidity right here. That's a liquidity
Oh
sweep.
snap! I missed that.
So when you
Facts.
sweep liquidity, price likes to come down and sweep some type of liquidity or find some type of support, right? Because we swept. So now there's nowhere else to go if we get a rejection. If a big candle, it's a breakout. But if it's rejection, especially a tweezer top at resistance, then we look to target below and we'll see where we can end up. Again, when we're here, we see that we have bullish order flow because we broke out on this tweezer top up here. We finally broke out of that one. So what happens when we break out of it? We create a fair value gap, and that is my
Yes.
support. That is my support. So we swept, we come down to the support, which also happens to be consequent encroachment, I believe, but just by looking at it. It's like consequent encroachment, right? We didn't close below the 50% of this wick, right? Then we seen price break up. So when price breaks up, again, how
ABW, that
yeah,
you went so expert on them, they might not be able to catch
I
that
know,
50% on the
Sorry,
wick.
I'm sorry. All
No,
right.
no, don't be sorry. You showed
We
them
have
again.
support. We have support. Again, how we mentioned earlier, support, turn resistance. Support, turn resistance. This was resistance. Now it's tapping into support. I'm gonna make this a different color so you can see it. Let's make it teal. This was resistance, now turn support. So it is until it isn't. As I mentioned earlier, it is until it isn't. So this is bullish until we break support, which was the former high. Break a structure. So what do? We look for bullish fair value gaps to be your support. And what changes price? If this is a head and shoulders, what would make it go the opposite way? And as you guys are wondering what these candles are doing right here, this is an indicator I found that shows you, which is good for these types of conversations, is that these are the hourly candles. So I'm on the 15 minutes right now. This is how the hourly candle looks. This is how the daily candle looks like. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't really know if like it's an inside bar, right? It's an inside bar, 2 inside bars in a row, inside day, inside day. That's what we see.
ABW, you going
Yeah,
too crazy. Hey,
I know,
bro.
I know.
I read
Sorry.
I read your text. I read your text from earlier. I
Yeah.
think you should just go ahead. You should do it in a Discord, but go ahead and do it now, bro, because
Okay.
you should give the opportunity to some of the people that truly came to see you perform. Go ahead and do your one of your free giveaways for the mentorship, bro. However you want to do it, but it's just they showed up for you, bro, and I know that they're able to digest how slow and easy you're breaking this down. If you guys are able to digest everything that he's saying and get a good grasp of what he's explaining, drop a fire in the chat.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm going 100 miles an hour, and I realized that like, oh shoot, we were started off with just support and resistance. You
Yeah,
see
but
what?
it's all right. They're following. They're following, bro. You see Bernice? If Bernice drops a fire, if Bernice drops a fire, bro, they're follow. I don't even care if anybody else drops a fire. And I'm not trying to say that she's the worst or anything. If she drops a fire, you're breaking it down, bro. You're breaking it down to the T. It is like, look, even Nay dropped a fire. Jimmy said fire. BW is king explaining. You're a better explainer than I am.
No, but I just took what you said earlier, right? And I just want to elaborate a little bit more because what you said
Now
was
you're
fine.
just gonna make me give you more flowers. You took what I said and made it better. You know what I'm saying? Super fire, bro. Continue to explain what you're doing by the end of this class, bro. Pick one of them, bro. It's all on you, brother.
Okay.
It was your idea. I'm just pushing you to do it now, and you can still do it, bro.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. Dean, feel like it was let's let these candles play out. Let's let these candles play out. But again, that's why we uncouple, right? All these things will be described, right? You gotta know the definitions of it. That's why I said language is the most important thing. You can't communicate when you go to a different country if you don't know language, right? I can help you navigate through things, travel, right, without getting scammed, right? So right here, it's bearish setup, we're rejecting. And so when you see price come down, I'm looking at the daily. So until we're below the opening price, say this is the opening price right here. this is gonna continue to be a red candle. So we're looking at the daily that way, and we're looking at the smaller time frame to see if we're holding some type of support here. That's what we're looking for because we had to change the state delivery. Again, I'll break it down in more simple terms, right? We broke out. We broke out. Earlier, Moody had the same thing where when you play a breakout, it might chop around a little bit. All right, a head and shoulders might look like a head and shoulders until it's not. So we let the candles come out. And what do we start seeing, right? What do we start seeing? We're holding support. We broke out of this little tweezer area, and now this is somehow being supported inside of a fair value gap. So now as this is happening, this head and shoulders is not head and shoulders now. It's starting to look like what? It's starting to look more like a bull flag. So a bearish pattern now turns into a bullish pattern. And so that's why you want to be able to use the support and also look at the bigger time frame. And now notice how the daily candle is now turned green. So do you want to short this candle now? All right. If not, what do you want to target? You want to target internal liquidity. And that takes us to where we were this morning. And that's why I was telling, I think it could be a trending day because what if I saw at, you know, the at open, what already has been supported. And I knew that we had this target and I knew that this daily candle looked like this. So I assumed that we're going to just keep pushing up. And so, but when Moody says bullish, that doesn't mean, oh, we're going to keep going to space and the moon. That's why you got to know where you want to go to. And sometimes it might be a small move and we keep ripping, but this was my target today and I was done. But whatever happens, happens afterwards. But that's why you have to have your plan. It kept ripping, right? But I was okay with just like, you know, a smaller trade because this was my plan. But look at how we uncouple on the hourly and on the daily time frame. And it's important to use multiple time frames. And as you can see on this hourly, we're creating little fair value gaps along the way. Okay. So that's the main thing I want to share. I don't want to go too crazy, but this is just the idea I had, the inspiration I got from doing my one-on-one earlier today and listening to your conversation.
Bro, that was fire. Amazing explanation. I may just drop one gem after you do your giveaway. How do you want to do it? You could just have them, you know, drop a random number and whatever number is in your head. You could text me the number so they don't think that, you know what I'm saying, they didn't that it was just a number you just chose. However
Yeah.
you want to do it. There's only
Okay.
22 people on here right now.
But I guess earlier when you asked me like, oh, what can you do that shows me that can happen now compared to like, oh, it happened before. Like what I showed you earlier is very similar.
Okay, Moody. Okay, Rosa. Okay, BW. Golly, he got the flu.
This is what happened today in a small time frame that I was showing you an example of what happened on the daily. I just want to finish that off in full circle.
Nah,
So,
bro, go ahead, bro.
but
I
yeah,
love it.
that's all. But in terms of that, I don't know. I feel like I appreciate everybody here for being on here. I'll choose just number 7. I don't know. I went to Vegas, choose number 7. That's a lucky number. So I
You
don't know.
told them the number though. They gonna choose.
Oh, okay. No, let's switch again. Let's switch again. Let's switch again.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
switch.
want 7. I don't want
He
7.
said I don't want something.
See, it is until it isn't. You know what I'm saying? It is until
All
it isn't.
right, so look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do and Bernice J, she already signed up, so we'll figure something out for you. However, I don't know, we may give you a fucking funded account, who knows? Um, let's do it. Everybody drop a number 1 through 20, and BW is gonna know the number. Man, y'all better hope y'all hit that number.
I don't know. I'm just gonna not even look at the chat and text Moody.
And look, and I give y'all one gem. It's just how he keeps breaking down the time frames and just breaking everything down. The 4-hour time frame is very valuable because of the times that it opens up. The 4 hour time frame opens up at 10 o'clock. So even if you're someone that doesn't want to wait for 9:30 when the market is opening up with that volatility, you can literally wait for 10 o'clock and take that opening candle breakout, right? If you see that we're extremely bullish and we're overextended on an RSI on a smaller time frame, and the 4 hour time frame is still looking very strong, 9 times out of 10, that opening of that 4 hour candle is going to push hard, right? And you can get you a little nice, depending on how many contracts you have, a nice little profit, and then you can hop out. Oh, my bad, BW. I see you text.
Yeah, I didn't look at the chat at all.
Oh, I think somebody hit that number. Let me see. Oh, snap. Motherfucker hit that number on the T. He hit that number on the T. All right, so what do you want to do, BW? Two people hit the number, right? Well, I'll just say the number. The number's 13. Two people hit the number 13. That was Bill and Ronnie. Am I pronouncing that right? Ronnie? Let me see. I think he's texting. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Um, Ronnie, awesome. All right. So what do you want to do? Do you want them to pick a number to break the tie from 1 to 10 and invite and do a giveaway in a Discord where everybody would be, or would you like to bring both of them in?
That's tough. That's tough. I think the people who chose the number were here.
Let's do that because we'll still do a giveaway
Have
for the
it.
whole Discord.
Yeah, because that's not fair. Yes, I want to be fair for the people who
I
show
just
up.
want to see how your heart. I always like to test the
You know,
character.
okay.
I'll
Okay.
pay. I'll pay. Let bro have it. Nah, you good, bro.
It's all love, man. It's
It's
all
for both
love.
of y'all.
I love teaching, so it's
Yeah, we
it's hard to make
appreciate you
one
wanting to
person feel like
support.
they got cheated after me helping them learn.
Yeah, I don't want to hit the number 13 and then go home like, man, I hit that number, man. Homie won that, man. You could have split
I
that.
don't want, yeah,
Come on. Wasn't Jesus the 13th man with his 12 disciples? Man, he showed love to everybody. You feel me? We
yeah,
got so you good, Ronnie. Ronnie and Bill, say something in the all access so we know who it is so that you can be able to get it. And all I'm gonna do on my part, on the giveaway, because that was his giveaway. So even the giveaway that we're gonna do inside of the Discord, that's all BW. It was his plan. However, what I'm gonna do is for anybody that's in the coaching program that wants to get in, I'll talk with BW and think of a percentage off, maybe like a 25% off or something of that nature for you guys. For anybody in coaching that wants to be able to get in. And give me up till tomorrow to be able to get it. And y'all will have your own separate link that I'll drop in the coaching program. Is that cool with you, BW?
absolutely, absolutely.
All right. 25%,
Yeah,
35%.
let's go 30, and I'll meet you in the middle. 30.
All right, cool. Let's do that. We'll do a 30% for anybody in the coaching program. All right, awesome. Does anybody have, oh well, dang, I should have stopped this recording.